Yo, what is good? Welcome to the Idiot's Guide to Search and Destroy. So, first things first, before I get into the gameplay and do you guys some commentary, I'm going to explain something that a lot of people don't seem to realise. So every single map works on a 3-lane system. For the left lane, the mid lane, and the right lane. Obviously, the left and the right will change depending on which side you're on. I'm going to put some examples up on the screen now, I'm going to talk over them. So map number one is a super popular one, which is standoff. So obviously you got the middle lane where you run straight past statue and then go past the cars towards the tank in their spawn. And then you've got the left lane if you're on offense, and that is where you go down back alley. So you go past grannies around and to back alley, and then you have the right lane, which is where you go through the bakery, round the boxes, and to A. The next map is Coastal. The middle lane is where you go straight through the middle of the map, past the fountain and towards the enemy spawn. The left lane is where you take a left when you spawn and go around to B through the bar area. And the right lane is where you go around the back of the car and past the ice cream shop towards A. And the last example is Summit, where you go through the middle of the spawn, down the stairs or out the window towards the doorway at the bottom. The right lane is where you go across the balcony towards B, and then the left lane is where you go down the stairs and down the snowy mountainside towards A. Now, I'm going to be showing you guys a game and doing some commentary and explaining a little bit more depth, because there's a 3-lane system in every map, but there is cut-offs on every single map as well, which we will go over in this video. Let's roll the gameplay. So we'll use Coastal as an example of what I mean for cut-offs. So say you take the left lane on offense towards B. When you get into the bar area, you can turn right, which takes you into the mid. And when you actually get to the B bomb area, you can also take a right, which takes you into the middle of the map. When you go to A, you can obviously go down the stairs underneath the map towards the spawn, or the left side, which takes you towards the middle of the map. Or you can go down the other set of stairs and go down the opposite bar, which is what we class as a lane. A lane off-cut, shall we say. Now, Summit's a really good map to explain this one on. So you've got the upper and lower balcony. Okay, they both class as the right side if you're on offense. So it doesn't really make a difference which side you're on. It's either going to be the left or the right side, and you've got the upper or lower. They are both still classed as the same lane. Now the doorway on the bottom is one of the offcuts that takes you into the middle of the map, and the window on the top, which I'm pushing onto this balcony now, it's just on the right when I came up the stairs, that is the other offcut which takes you into the middle. Now, the left lane on Summit only has one offcut, unless you go all the way down to the spawn, or you start on the defense spawn. If you start on the defense spawn, if you go into that little factory area on the right there, you can jump down onto the little catwalk, which is one of the offcuts. Or if you're coming from offense side, you can go down past A, up the stairs, and into the mid. So they're the great examples of offcuts. Every single map has a 3-lane system and offcuts. Okay, as soon as you understand that, playing this game mode becomes considerably easier, because you can use those for an advantage into flanking on your enemies, such as I did just there. Now, another thing people seem to forget is you don't need to play super aggressive. If you're on offense, you can't spend the whole game camping. You are more than likely going to lose. But I also recommend not playing solo search and destroy unless you're a very confident player with good gun skills. And the reason why I say this is because you can't rely on a team in search and destroy. You could be playing with people that are very good, and it is a lot of luck based, sadly. So you do have to play quite cautiously when you're playing in search and destroy. That's just how it is, unfortunately. So another good example of what you should and shouldn't do is, if you're on defense, don't push. Don't push up to the enemy unless you're playing in a 5-stack and the enemy squad you're playing against is weaker than your squad and you guys are just playing for kills and trying to make the game quick. If you're playing against a stronger opponent and you are defending the bomb sites, do not push up into their spawn unless they are sat in their spawn and you can get a good flank on them. Also remember, playing time is super important. People seem to forget just how helpful that can be towards you and your gameplay. Say the whole team's camping in spawn, you don't have to push up, but hold enough angles so you can play for picks if they do decide they want to move towards you guys. A lot of people seem to forget that search and destroy is an objective game mode and it's not about kills. I personally don't always play the objective, but like I said earlier on, if you're a confident player with decent gun skill, then you don't really need to think about it like that if you feel like you can just play for picks and that's your superiority in the game mode. Now, another super important thing that people always seem to miss out is how to properly hold angles. A lot of people hold angles where they're able to be flanked or where they're able to be killed from a less advantageous spot than what they're on. Do you know what I'm saying? So we'll use an example here. Let's take A bomb and standoff. Say you're stood between the bomb site and the tractor, and you're not looking towards the right, and you're just looking towards the tank and broken wall area. Then you're either going to get killed from the left side, which I wouldn't consider a flank because it's boxes, and somebody's got a advantage peak on you, and they can see you, and you're not paying attention to them. Obviously, you're going to die. You're not using enough cover, and then you're also exposed on the right hand side if somebody comes to the barrel on the wall. So again, you're not putting yourself in an advantage. That's not really what I'd consider holding angles. Now, if you're in a 1v1 situation and you're holding that angle and you know the person's in front of you, say broken wall side, that's when that would work better. But I personally, if somebody was around the back of their spawn on the tank side towards barrels, I would hold the tractor and I would switch between the back of the bomb and the side of the tractor so I can see them, and then as soon as I see them I'll then push out into the open and try and take the gunfight. It doesn't always work, but it is honestly more of a solid strategy than just standing there completely exposed to multiple angles. Another good example of this is in this map here, Summit. A lot of people like to sit on the forklift on the back of offense spawn, which is just past those containers on the front of me. On the left you go around to the right and then there's a forklift. So it's not a bad spot to hold if you're playing against a really aggressive enemy, but you have to be very careful not to get flanked from the left side. Say the team push up from around like the snowy mound area, then you are very much exposed because there isn't a lot of cover on the left at all, and because there's multiple obstacles there, it's going to be harder to push out. So you really need to make sure that your positioning is 10 out of 10 all the time and you're always completely aware of your surroundings. Also, like I said, if you're playing with a 5-stack, make sure that you use comms. Comms are so incredibly important in winning search and destroy and having a higher percentage of actually getting wins as well. A lot of people seem to feel overconfident when they're playing with their friends, which is understandable, but you need to still remember that the enemy team could either be better or have better strategies if their gun skills aren't as good. Now, as much as I don't condemn using meta guns inside search and destroy, the two best things you're going to use for search and destroy is either a very strong meta weapon, depends on what it is for the season, or if you're a confident player and you enjoy doing it, a sniper rifle. Now, I don't condemn hard scoping either, but if you feel like you can hold an angle and have a good advantage with hard scoping with a sniper, then I'm not going to discourage it. Anything to get a win in this respect, because this is genuinely just me trying to help out people that don't feel as confident or aren't as good at the game. So the things you just need to constantly remember is holding angles precisely, making sure you're not going to get flanked, making sure that you've got a good idea roughly of what your team's doing, and the most important thing, and I cannot stress this enough, is realising how the lane system works and how all the uppercuts work. That is so incredibly important, and most people disregard it. I've spoken to people about it in the past, and most people don't even realise it's a thing. But every single map has a 3-lane system of offcuts, every single map. And as soon as you understand how that works, it gives you an advantage on being able to flank the enemy, be able to catch them off guard, being able to give yourself that advantage. I hope this helps whoever's watched it. If you actually enjoyed the video and you'd like to see more like this, remember to like and subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to show the game scoreboard after this anyway. Catch you guys in the next one. Peace.